close your eyes and imagine the smoky haze of a jazz club. Suddenly, it hits you, that unmistakable, infectious beat. Take 5, the iconic jazz anthem by Paul Desmond, immortalized by the Dave Brubeck Quartet, washes over you. The melody is both complex and playful, the rhythm a daring departure from the norm. Take 5 isn't just a song, it's an experience. It's a conversation between instruments, a spontaneous outpouring of creativity and emotion. It is jazz at its finest, unpredictable, soulful, and undeniably human. But what happens when this human element, the very soul of jazz, faces an unexpected partner on stage, artificial intelligence? The world of music is no stranger to innovation. Throughout history, musicians and inventors have pushed boundaries, always searching for new ways to express creativity and emotion. From the invention of the gramophone to the birth of digital recording, technology has always shaped how we create and consume music. Each breakthrough has opened up fresh possibilities, transforming not just the sounds we hear, but the very process of making music itself. What is new in the case of artificial intelligence is the fact that it's not just a new game player, it's a game changer. Algorithms can compose songs that are often indistinguishable from human creations. The new technologies are able to listen, adapt, and respond, creating a dynamic musical conversation. These systems can analyze countless styles and genres, learning to mimic the nuances of jazz improvisation in real time. A world where AI algorithms collaborate with human musicians is no longer a piece of science fiction. It is happening now. As AI technology continues to evolve, its impact on the future of jazz is becoming impossible to ignore. The next era of music is unfolding before our eyes, and AI is part of it. The boundaries between human creativity and machine intelligence are becoming increasingly blurred, but the marriage of jazz and AI is a complex one, though. It is filled with promises and uncertainty. AI offers jazz musicians incredible new tools for creation and collaboration, opening doors to sounds and ideas that may have never been explored before. Imagine an AI program that can analyze your improvisations, learn from your style, and even suggest harmonies, rhythms, or chord progressions you might not have considered, acting as a creative partner rather than just a tool. But again, is a tool ever just a tool? Let's go back to 1966, when French philosopher Michel Foucault brilliantly approached the topic of the subject in his analysis of the painting Las Meninas, an oeuvre from 1656 by Spanish painter Diego Velázquez. On the canvas, the main motif of the painting, the representation of King Philip IV and his wife Mariana, is reduced to a mere reflection in a tiny mirror on the wall, while the painter himself and secondary elements of the scene are moved to the front of the composition. Foucault perceives in the inversion of the roles proposed by Velázquez a breaking point. The subject of the painting is replaced by representation, and the representation becomes the main subject, free from its reference, which is now relegated to a supporting position. Representation no longer needs to belong to anyone or point to anything except itself. Certainly, the history of humanity is full of examples that show that any technological innovation provokes heated reactions both for and against it. On the other hand, denying that we are facing a peculiar challenge, to say the least, is tantamount to denying climate change on the grounds that weather has always changed. What is at stake here is much more than a mere personal aesthetic choice, but rather a collective ethical attitude towards the future of a music genre. Why? First of all, because the golden days of believing in a neutral form of technology are over, if they ever existed. This was not the case in analog times, and is absolutely not the case in the digital age. And yet, many creators refer to AI as just a tool. Well, if you think that a complex system such as artificial intelligence is just a tool, and that tools are neutral entities above the good and the evil, perhaps it is interesting to ask yourself, every time you find yourself in front of a tool, be it your car or your tablet, who produced it? Who distributes it? Is it free? Is it accessible to all? If such questions never occurred to you, then probably you are in a position that allows you to take the access to technology for granted and to consider it as a fundamental right, a position that sets you at a remarkable advantage compared to the substantial amount of people all over the world that cannot take potable water for granted, let alone the access to the internet. Secondly, because there is no such a thing as a free lunch. We know that at the end of the day, we humans are the ones providing the data that feeds artificial intelligence. And this often occurs without our knowledge and through rules that are still very opaque to the average user. The overwhelming majority of us ignore the extent to which all of this information is used. The lines between the surface web, the deep web, and the no man's land called the dark web often overlap, and the popularization of the use of AI brings a powerful player into the game. The problem is that no one knows for sure how this player behaves on the field. Finally, I believe that the discussion about the use of AI is not limited to personal preferences, but rather is linked to collective issues, because the promise behind all the promises that AI makes to us is that of a future of infinite creative possibilities, which cannot be experienced unless collectively. After all, your work alone does not bring much to the database, but a world of wonders is just a click away, as long as we all agree to take part in the farewell ceremony to authorship and copyrights, at least concerning individuals, since corporations are usually quite effective in finding loopholes to circumvent sanctions imposed on ordinary citizens, appealing to an idealized future is a good pitch, but it hides the fact that artificial intelligence is actually tied to the past. As member of the Brazilian Academy of Sciences, neuroscientist Roberto Lent recently pointed out, quote, "Artificial intelligence depends on the past, on a huge database to function. It deals with this data in a passive way, while the human brain deals better with the future, creating new information. So, AI accumulates what humans have created and uses it for functions that resemble what the human brain does. But what really creates knowledge is the human brain." Unquote. Back to jazz. Can an algorithm truly understand the soul of a genre born from human experience, emotion, and the freedom to break the rules? Or does it risk turning a deeply personal art form into something mechanical and predictable? At its core, jazz is about improvisation, the art of spontaneous musical experience. Each performance embraces the unexpected, and it is unique, shaped by the chemistry between players and the mood of the audience, and the mood of the musicians as well. Jazz is about feeling the music deep within your bones and letting it flow out through your instrument. The magic of improvisation lies in its unpredictability and the way it captures fleeting moments of inspiration and emotion. But again, can AI, bound by algorithms and devoid of genuine emotion, ever truly grasp the essence of improvisation? Can a machine, no matter how advanced, understand the subtle cues, the silent communication, and the emotional depth that define a great jazz performance? Can it replicate the raw, unfiltered emotions that give jazz its complexity? Or is there something inherently human about the way we express ourselves through music, something that can't be programmed or predicted? These questions challenge us to consider what it truly means to create art, to improvise, to connect with one another through music, and to find meaning in the spontaneous beauty of the moment. But after all, what about our main question? Will AI enhance the human experience of jazz, or will it dilute its essence? The answer, like a complex jazz melody, is full of nuances. But one thing is clear: it's up to us, the listeners and creators, to shape the future of jazz. As for AI, just as Velázquez reduced the subject to a reflection in the mirror but could not totally get rid of it, artificial intelligence cannot do without the continuous human production either, under the penalty of becoming an obsolete tool. The future of jazz remains a human specialty and responsibility. jAIzz, an international jazz day event by Geisa Fernandes.